Hello everyone. Hope everyone's great out there and welcome back for another video. This video is going to be a short brief video pertaining to the different burners for the Jon E hand warmers. So in the early years they started off with a style like this, which has a coil spring wrapped around the fiber with the platinum and whatever else that they had in there, the different fibers in there. So when they did this, it worked out okay, but I believe they're having problems with getting contaminated too easy because they're all exposed. They're exposed to the elements. They're exposed to people touching them with their hands and knocking the fibers loose and giving them a shorter lifespan. Then they have this model, which is like a braided, almost like a braided fiberglass tube. And but if you can see, yeah, you can see it in the camera here, little shiny spots, little areas. I'm going to try and turn it around in the light. You can see some sparkling going on in there. This style has, it's kind of like a cardboard insert. It's really rigid, but it's not metal. I personally believe that it's asbestos because it doesn't burn, obviously. Cardboard would. And so you got to be careful with these units. You know, don't be breathing it or knocking them around if you're working on any of these hand warmers and stuff, because as I said in other videos, a lot of companies back in the days, they were using asbestos for almost everything. And I believe they had them on some of these burners. And that's where I think that insert on this model, which is still in there, I believe it's asbestos. So don't quote me on that, but I believe so. Because reading one of the patents on this, I do recall them mentioning asbestos material in one of the patents. So just keep that in mind. I mean, undisturbed, no problem. Or wear gloves. If you're rebuilding any of these, definitely wear gloves, eye protection, and respirator. I'm not taking this apart here today. I'm not going to disturb it or anything, so I feel confident with handling it the way it is. And so with that said, you know, the shiny spots that you're seeing in this woven mesh fabric or fiberglass braided tubing here, that is the platinum. Really fine platinum fibers that were woven in with that material. And that's where the burning comes from. That other insert that's in there is just to hold this kind of open, you know, kind of, you know, they could have did the same thing, inserting a spring inside there or whatever else they could have done. But that's that style. And then you have this style, which is basically a fiberglass braided tube. And this one has seen a lot of better days. So this worked pretty well for them. And I have mentioned in other videos and so forth that the fiberglass tubing, I mean, fiberglass is an insulator. So in my opinion, it's restricting heat. And you want the heat to be escaping. This one has the spring mechanism, the little coiled wire. It's not a true spring, but it's always referred to as a spring. And you can see it right there. And then you can see the fibers. These fibers are woven around. This is the platinum among other fibers that are woven around the coils of the spring. It probably makes maybe 1.5, 2 revolutions from one end to the other. So it's not a spring like this. It's just a stiff piece of metal that is kind of a long, like as if you were to take a spring like this and stretch it out a ways. So like I said, it makes maybe 1.5 to 2 revolutions going from one end to the other. But this is the fiber, this is the platinum, among other fibers, that are adhered around that wire spring from one end to the other. And then this fiberglass tubing, this braided tube, was there to protect those fibers. So that way it's keeping everything all contained and out of the elements, versus this style all being out in the open, where if you're touching it or dropping it, it's you're making contact with all the fibers. You're getting oil on them from your hands, which can cause damage and prevent them from burning properly. Or if you're dropping them and the fibers are getting knocked loose and they're falling right out, this style is containing that more. And so yeah, this here style was really nice, where they have it woven in there. I can imagine the cost was probably getting up there for doing this. I'm not sure the manufacturing process of all this weaving and everything, but to go ahead and have that kind of manufacturing process and weaving that platinum into the fiber material, can't imagine it was very cheap. I'm sure it wasn't as cheap as doing either one of these others. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking this was more expensive, and plus, there again, it's exposed to the elements. You're touching it and banging it around and stuff. But the nice thing with it being woven in there, you're not losing the fibers as easy. They're pretty much put, and these produced really good heat because there was nothing between what was getting hot and, you know, radiating the heat out and heating up the hand warmer. But this style has produced really good heat. That's probably one of the nicest ones for heat over the years. But you know, they can get damaged, and so we can try and hit them. We'll see what they do here with the lighter. So you can see the orange glow there from the platinum, but it doesn't stay orange very long. So looks like my lighter is about done. But we'll get this one there. So you can see how the platinum gets hot on these. That's the one with it braided into the sleeve. I'll get this one turned here so I can get at it. So they'll get nice and orange with the lighter, but they require the evaporation of the fuel in the hand warmer to keep them burning with that chemical reaction that it produces. But so lighter needs to be refilled. But that's the gist of it. So hopefully this here covered a few things and explained a few things to some of you out there. And thank you for watching again, and you have yourselves a great day, and stay safe out there.